Hello. Dodie or something, my mommy says hello. Hello. Let's see. I'll just wait 1 second for the throngs of people to show up. Oh. Ooh. It's so dark in here. Angelito el Guapo says, "Hola, ready for another adventure. Yay. Thank you both for being here." Whee! It's so dark. Oh, no. 1 more minute and then I'll get into it. Ooh, intrigue. Well, speaking of intrigue, hello and welcome. I will edit this part out of the podcast because now, you know what? Hey, never mind. Hold on. Hey, and welcome. Yeah, I wanted to start a little bit early tonight, and for those of you who are used to the 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time start time, don't worry, I'll reiterate when we get there. But I wanted to share a couple things with you here at the beginning, the half an hour leading up to it. As you can see behind me, there's nothing except for this one line, and something over here. Ooh, trippy. But I've worked the last couple days on building a better green screen. So the one that attached to my chair back was awesome, but halfway through the show it ended up being real floppy, and I don't know why. So I've spent the last couple days working on a very good, don't worry, green screen where it is, I'll talk about a little bit how I made it later, but what I really wanted to show y'all was this. So I am now, I want to start doing an art stream tied with D&Me because I have so many great visuals in my head that I have very good artistic talent, and I want to put them on a thing. Now, on my screen, it's showing that there's like blinky black boxes here in Fire Alpaca. Let me know if that is the case, or if it's just it malfunctioning a little bit on my end. But it is. Okay. Well, this is why we test things. So maybe if it's like this, then it won't do the blinky thing. But I have so many great visuals in my head, and I want to realize them. I want to draw them. I want to draw my own versions of my boys and all the NPCs and capture little great moments. And then put those things available on Crimson Convex Crimson or the Redbubble store, so that you can watch me art it, and then you can eventually buy it if you want to. I think it's awesome. I think it'll grow my Twitch audience. I'm thinking to start off Tuesday nights. So that'll be a fun, low pressure. It'll be just me chatting and then having y'all. I love that. Thank you, Mommy. I love it too. So I'm trying to figure out Photoshop instead of this. But this is Fire Alpaca, which is a cool thing here in a free download thing. So thank you, Fire Alpaca. I think like Flama would also be good, Fire Alpaca, but we're working on it. Flama. So I'll be working on Fire Alpaca for a little bit, and I think this is one of the reasons why Twitch users have two different screens, is so that they can have Flama on one and then all the Twitch stuff on the other, because I think that's where all the blinky black boxes are coming from. But I'll figure that out. But as part of, I've had this D&' artistry in my head for a long time, and so this is finally my first attempt at it. So we're just gonna mess around for 25 minutes before the stream. And then also I got a wireless keyboard literally yesterday, and it's brilliant. I got a thrift store wireless keyboard, but I wiped it down a whole bunch, and all it needed was new batteries, and it literally works like a charm. So we're gonna just hang out. So here's also the tricky thing, which I didn't realize until 3 minutes before 6:30. When I have Falama up, and I'm not gonna call it Fire Alpaca anymore, it's Falama. When I have Fire Alpaca up, I can't see the chat. So I'll be bouncing back and forth to see how everyone's doing in the chat. But Canon, Falama, yeah, exactly. So I will be doing that. So how are y'all doing tonight? What was I doing that? Oh, how are y'all doing tonight? Mommy and Poppy, thank you always for being my biggest support. I appreciate it. You know what? Let's roll for it, baby. I will start drawing, and me being very particular artist-wise, I was apprehensive of doing art, an art stream, but I want to grow. So the only way to grow is to get out of your comfort zone. So here we go. 1, Tipsy. Onyx is 2. Rock is 3. Toot Toot is 4. And that is a 1, Tipsy. Starting at the beginning. I like it. All right, so Falama. I know all the keyboard shortcuts in Photoshop. Eraser. Okay. So this will be... Oh, boy. Can I just... Yeah, that's what I want. Oh, no. What am I doing? Okay. Is your mama Falama mama? Is your... So, Tipsy #1 fan, which is great because we're starting off drawing Tipsy. Is your mama a Falama mama? Falama mama. Ah, that might have been it. Hello, Sarah. I don't know if you heard, but I have a new green screen, which I'll talk about at the beginning of D&Me proper. But I'm doing a D&' artistry, which is a live stream art stream kind of dealing. So, to draw Tipsy, let's see. Let's do a little... Oh, is it white? That's white. Ow. Off to a great start. Okay. D. Uh-huh. And then some ears. Oh, boy. Oh, no. This is... Oh, I'm going to have to learn how to do all this. Let's see. Uh-huh. Great. And then some brown hair. This is great. Golly. Mm-hmm. All right, so this is our first sticker that we're going to put on Redbubble. Uh-huh. Oh, gosh. Okay. This is going very well. I thought about getting like a tablet also, but okay, how do hands do? Oh, you know what? No, I wanted to tell y'all this beforehand. Um, um, so my green screen, this will be easiest to figure out how to Falama. My green screen, do 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 do. Okay, so you know these, oh, this is just so funky. Okay, stop. You know these cardboard cutouts, which are like the cardboard trifolds, and the middle section is like 2 foot long, and then each of these little wings is a foot, and then it's 3 feet tall. Well, oh, bother. How do I get that? Oh, okay. What is this? Move tool. Yeah. How do I? Okay. Well. So. Oh, wow. This is a huge learning curve because I know it all on Photoshop so good. Oh, Lord. Falama. Oh, I didn't say. Okay. Well, this is learning. Let's say that's good. Okay. And then let's do another. Oh, there's a whole. Flip, fix center, fix diagonal, flip. Okay. Jaggies. Nearest neighbor, Jaggies. Flip. Oh boy. Oh boy, howdy. Yep. Falama. I might need to get Photoshop. Anyways, so my green screen, you know these cardboard cutouts, these 3 guys? Well, I kind of duct taped 4 of them together. So it is now 6 feet tall and 8 feet wide. And it's behind me. And it's pretty big and daunting. And I was, perhaps, very high off of contact cement, of rubber cement earlier. And maybe kind of dizzy. So that is gonna... Oh boy, look at Tipsy. Okay. So how do can I merge all these together? That is caps lock. I'm learning out the combine in folder, import as image as new, import an image as a new layer. Well, combine in folder. Oh, okay. In Photoshop. Well, in Photoshop, I can merge them all together. So let's see if... No, that's not what this is. Well, I mean, yeah, kind of. Okay. Okay. Why are you not using Photoshop? That is a good question, Dodie, or something. So, Photoshop is on my old laptop. And I'm having a son of a gun time trying to put it on my new laptop. I haven't figured it out yet. And then Flama is free. Oh, yes. And if I can't figure out how to transfer... Okay. If I can't figure out how to transfer Photoshop from my old laptop onto my new one, like trying to put it in the hard drive and then transferring it over there, which I tried, but it's like, no, I don't know what's happening. Or if I don't figure out another smart way to do it, I might have to get it for my new laptop, which figuring out Falama right now, flailing around in Falama, this might be worth it already. But I didn't know until I tried, so here we go. I'm not going to say that out loud. So I'm going to... JIMP is another good one. JIMP. Another good photo editing tool. Excellent. I will write that down. Future Victor. Well, actually, no. I have a lot of stuff going on. So I'm trying to figure out how to be most efficient. And for this little first part, I might not put it in the podcast and I might not rewatch it tomorrow. Just to save me a half an hour. But I'll write it down. And when I do D&D artistry, then I will... Blinky, 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 blinky. When I do D&D artistry, I will highlight the video so that you can watch it again on Twitch. I will throw it up on YouTube, but I might not rewatch it because when I do that and then when I play video games, then I think when I come up with a good idea, I'll write it down. But otherwise, I can't. For the amount of content that I do want to produce, I think rewatching D&Me for the details and specifics would be great. I think me rewatching me playing Spider-Man or Skyrim or I think I'll really try to write down my good ideas. And then for D&D artistry, I'll just remember like, hey, at 6:46, this was this really great moment. So fair. Yeah, but hey, I'm learning, so that's huge. 6 months ago, I didn't know what the heck I was doing in Twitch. Now, I barely know what the heck I'm doing on Twitch. I'm using 1% of Twitch, but I'm using 1%, and I'm learning. Oh, it would be also probably a good idea to see how other people do art stream. Also, I'm not great at drawing on mouse, so other people art stream. There is a fabulous artist named Avant Geek, and she does an art stream, but she is amazing. She made Olivia Mears, Avant Geek. Yeah, you can find her on Instagram, and she has a website and Facebook and YouTube and all that. She is an amazing artist. Maybe one of my artistic crushes, but she made like this dress out of like tacos, so she was a Taco Bell, and yeah, it was like a yellow themed one, and that's one of her most well-known bits. But she is amazing, and she's hilarious and really humble and is great. So I will be trying to take pointers from her. So far so great. We have a picket fence and Tipsy. How do you do... Oh, I'm not in a... What happens if I right click? Right click is selecting color. Let's see. Let's make little waddles because Tipsy doesn't want to be alone. Waddles. Perfect. That's very good. I think we're halfway there. Okay, so here's a bunch of stuff up here. Rectangle, snap to grid, round corners, 60, deselect, transform, free transform. I just want to... Here's a thing I do need y'all's help with, actually, to use this time instead of me slowly realizing that I can't draw with a mouse. Very good. Oh boy, what's this? Oh, okay. Can I just... Yeah, I need Photoshop. I have been thinking about it for the last like 3 weeks, and it's not until me trying to figure it out right now. Yep, Dodie or something completed the joke that I didn't. Can't draw a rat with a mouse? But here we go. Something I do need y'all's help with. And this was... I was going to do it on a... Oh, dear. Okay. Do, 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 do. Okay, so there's a great t-shirt design that is a shirt. Oh my goodness. Move tool. Yeah, thank you. There's a great t-shirt design that is like a list of the main characters of a show. And I was trying to think of how to do that best. Either in like introductory order, which I'm always a fan of, or I thought of different ways we could do it. Like have it like this pyramid kind of, where it no, how do you spell tutu? Where it looks like you're not gonna let me do that. Where it kind of looks like a pyramid like this, so that it's like, you know, when you organize something and it's the smaller word at top. Well, I guess it's also letters. Like Rock has 3 letters, Onyx has 4, Tipsy has 5, Toot has 8, and 9, including the hyphen. Either that or alphabetically. So, how would that be? Onyx and Rock. Or alphabetically. Alphabetically is not bad. But I'm a fan of Tipsy and Onyx and Rock and Toot Toot. Like, let's pick a color. B? Yeah, B for bold, baby. Nope, B for brush. Oh, balls. Okay, there we go. B for balls. So we got A. We got, let's see, what's a pyramid color? That's pretty good. Alphabetically, that's kind of like a turquoise. Okay, so A, we have the regular introductory order. And I'll look up like the right fonts and stuff for the t-shirt. But Tipsy and Onyx and Rock and Toot Toot, or B, like smallest to the largest, letters wise and word wise, or C, Onyx, Rock, Tipsy, or Toot. Oh, so that's alphabetical. Tipsy, okay. Dodie or something says, intro order is my fave because that is how you always say their names. Yep. And then a second vote, Tipsy #1 fan. I like Tipsy, Onyx, Rot, Tutut. Perfect. Cool. Well, great. That works out very well. Because I was thinking about like different ways to do it. And I agree, but I wanted to hear other people's opinions on it. Text color. Okay. I'm sure this is a great Flama. I'm sure this is a fabulous program, but I have been spoiled with Photoshop, so. Now, to have a t-shirt variant with adding waddles, do we add him at the end, or do we do... You're gonna screw me with the text color again, huh? Yeah, I saw it coming. He saw it coming. Well, he had himself to blame. If you had been there, if you had seen it. And ding. Cicero Lipschitz. Or that. So add Waddles to the end, or add Waddles underneath Tipsy, because he is essentially the 5th character. Dodie or something says, although Falama is a better name, Falama is very great. Maybe I'll give Dean Artistry the computer. When I talk to Photoshop, then I will call it Falama in honor of Falama helping me figure stuff out. Falama. Fire llama. Also, I need to do a fire llama as like a monster, a creature or something. Tipsy #1 fan says waffles at the end, and then Dodie or something says the end also. Oh, okay. And then Tipsy number one fan says, "Oh, Waddles after Tipsy ain't bad." I know, right? They're both good. They're both good. Maybe I'll do like a poll or something. Because and it's very interesting to see like merchandise just because I want a sticker of my logo, so that's why I made it. And now on the back of this laptop, the new one, there is the sticker of my logo. So it's very interesting to see like me doing merchandise just because I think it's a great item to have out there versus the more business mind of why. So someone's gonna buy a t-shirt. What's gonna make them buy a second t-shirt? We had another name. So that's interesting. And I don't do it for the money, obviously. 6 months and I get like $50. But it's fascinating, just a show versus a business. Anyways. Yeah, I might do a poll. That's cool. I'm using up all my episode 26 page of notes for this, which is very important, and I'm learning a lot already, which I wouldn't have done. Oh my gosh, y'all. What a great entertainment experience. Tipsy number one fan. I like ending on toot toot. Dodie or something says, what about Waddles in a tiny font after Tipsy? Well, that's cute. All right, we have 4 minutes left before D&Me start proper. So let me write this down. Waddles at end. Option 2. Tipsy and Waddles. Angelito Le Guapo, what do you think? And Waddles. Let's try small font, because let's see how that is. Let's see if it's going to be super cute. Because that might be really cute. Don't you do it. Don't you do it text color. Why do you do that? Oh, is it because this is text color? No. Oh. Only had himself to blame. Now how do I... Oh. Text size. Okay. Now that's kind of cute, but it sticks out. But maybe there. That's kind of cute too. All right, so then I like how definitively, yes, this one. But if we add Waddles into it, then there's suddenly 4 different options. Waddles, and then Waddles and in tiny font. Either behind. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But really great half hour. Nope, wrong button. Dodie or something says under Tipsy is adorable. Yeah, like a small. That's pretty good. Okay, I like it. Well, that was lovely. I'll put this wireless keyboard away because this thing's so fucking big, y'all. Angelito Ababo says, yeah. I love the support from this minion. And from my fabulous ladies. So, here we go. We're going to start into... Oh my gosh. Spoiler alert, I'm tired, y'all. All right. Oh, hello, Lauren Bryson 99. Hello. You got to see a little behind the scenes, but here in 10 seconds, I'm going to throw up my intro and pretend none of it happened. So you got a sneak peek. 3, 2, 1. Nope. It's 10 seconds of nothing, and then 20. Okay, there it is. Oh, shit.
Come, friend, now lend me an ear for a tale of Victor the Weird. He went on an adventure with he, him, and himself, and also his mighty fine beard. Now gather round, I'll tell you about this mighty beast. He may look as human, as mere as you, friend, but soon your eyes will feast upon this marvelous creature with many body parts. His one shirt may fool you, but what if I told you his chest had 4 red hearts? One mouth but 1,000 voices, one mind and limited choices, 2 handsome dice, 2 handsome dice. The audience rejoices. He's going to play D&D with him, himself, and he. Those are his pronouns. It's really profound. It's time for D&D, featuring Victor and 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 Victor. One knows who knows how many repeats. So come and sit down in an empty seat. It's time for D&Me. 2 eyes, 4 cheeks, 2 souls on his feet, 2 hands for many new foes to defeat, 1 tongue, 2 lips through which to speak, but just one but.
Hey everybody, I'm Victor Rivera, and welcome to D&Me, where I play with myself, I play D&D with myself, and welcome! This is episode 26, it's good to see y'all. We are in the theater tonight because of episode 25. So, hello! I am looking at my Twitter right now because Lauren Bryson99 says they tweeted me. I just tweet you, feel free to check it. And I'm doing great, by the way. Thank you for asking. Let's see. My Twitter is kind of dumb. My phone, I have to crank it. All right. I don't see it, but I'm sure it was nothing but praise. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see. Here at the beginning, Yes, we had a little half an hour pre-show thing, a little secret surprise. A couple things. One, I made a full green screen background, and it's 6 feet tall and 8 feet wide, and it's green screen green, and it smells to high heavens of rubber cement. So I'm a little bit high, but not a lot. And my laptop is crying in pain, but that's because I had full llama still up. So hopefully that'll chill out. If not, oh well. Let's see. Some future stuff. First of all, a lot has happened this week, and I'm pretty tired. But I really wanted to, unless I booked something or had an extenuating circumstance, I really want to be here for D&Me and for D&We. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. This show means a lot to me. And we might not go the whole 2.5 hours, but I do want to play a little bit of D&D. So with that, I'm toying around with maybe Monday being a D&Me like the drink, but it's also Valentine's Day. So those of you with significant others, please spend a lovely evening with yourselves. But I might be here drinking red wine by myself and doing some art or something. I don't know. I have if it does happen, Monday D&Me like the drink, I have a Valentine's D&D story to tell y'all, and it's very clever. I like it. So that's important. Green screen did it. The half an hour with my new wireless keyboard. Looks like a guitar. I showed off part of underneath the D&Me umbrella, I want to have D&Me the Adventures, where I play Dungeons and Dragons by myself, and it's part of the campaign. I also want to have D& Artistry, which is where I do art streams, so that I can make art and then put them on D&Me merchandise. And then 2, I want to B3 PO. I want to do some video games, so I'm looking to buy a PlayStation 5 so that I can also plug into that Twitch audience. So a lot of stuff on all of the burners in the fires for D&Me, but I just wanted to let you all know I'm thinking about it pretty much every hour of every day. Speaking of which, I am also reading the Player's Handbook. So in a section I'm calling the Player's Handbook. See, it works for everything. On page 8, Mike Merles, who was one of the lead designers of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, says here at one of the end paragraphs, "But that's not the end of the story. You can think of an adventure as a single episode of a TV series, made up of multiple exciting scenes. A campaign is a whole series, a string of adventures joined together with a consistent group of adventurers following the narrative from start to finish." And I thought that was really cool. Look, I matched the shirt and then the background. But I also finished reading the races part. The part of the book with the races, that's slightly better. And I finished that chapter, but then I wanted to have a quick and easy way to like flip through it. So I made these thumb notches where I have the races, classes, backgrounds, equipments, and spells, which are like the big chapters, but the subsections are like the common races. And then I can flip dwarf, elf, halfling, human. I can flip from human up to dragonborn. So that's the next 4, which are the uncommon races. Dragonborn, gnome, half elf, half orc. And then I can use half orc to flip over to tiefling, which is the last one in the Player's Handbook. Whoa, look at that. Man, green screen does some funky stuff with some funky stuff. Look at that. That's bonkers. Yeah, like when I have anything yellow also, it freaks out. I don't get it, man. Technology. So that's cool. I'm going to read classes next and figure out what else I'm not doing correctly. But here, an element I haven't done this in a while, a D& Retcon. This is a small little thing, but in episode 18, Queso Quest, I said at the end of that episode, that Thingama, one of my characters, was a halfling, and I read through the races, and I was like, you know what? I want to change that. He is instead a gnome, and more specifically a rock gnome, because they have tinkering abilities, and Thingama's whole thing in Blades in the Dark was tinkering. So I want to do that, and then that justifies the very end where we rolled for the final boss, and it was a robot rat. But now, because rock gnomes have a thing where they can do mechanical clockwork stuff, so that is now a clockwork rat. So it's all justified. It's all connecting. And then, yeah, I'm starting on the classes chapter in D&Me, page 44. Starting on the classes chapter in the Player's Handbook, which is page 44. Yeah, maybe another modem, like another screen will help take pressure off of the laptop. Ooh, bunch of stuff in the chat. So, Tipsy number 1 says melodica. Oh, that's the mouth keyboard thing. Cool. I'm learning something. That's D& research after the fact that I didn't have to do. It's D&, research now. I would love to see the characters playing Skyrim. I have thought about that. Yep, absolutely. For me playing video games. I have a very real reason to play Skyrim, except for it being one of the best games ever. But I have one last achievement. So me playing Skyrim will just be like beelining. What is it where you do the fastest way to complete the game? But also I love... no, I'm getting my hands. So, Dodie or something says, OMG, it's a post-it ghost. Y'all are so funny. Oh, mommy. I'm sorry, laptop. I wish I knew how to fix that. Oh my gosh, I am so tired. Look at this. I haven't been this tired since the beginning of D&Me. Episode 3 was really tired. Episode 11 was the worst. Rat in real estate. Unfortunately, I was the most tired in that one. So this is another very tired episode. But we will have some good moments. And that's all that I can ask for. The theme song was produced and performed by Bradley Owens. You can find them on Instagram at Bradley Owens, Bread Ley. Okay. And then the last thing before I go into D and recap, D&Re. That's a great prefix for everything. Prefix for everything. My D&Re vision is that last episode I said it was by Creedence Clearwater Revival, but no, Blackwater is indeed sung and performed by the Doobie Brothers. And with that, we are now into D and recap. What happened episode 25, which is asking for help? Nope. Episode 25 was Groundhog Day. Episode 25 was Groundhog Day. Episode 25 was Groundhog Day. So, we ended with everyone kind of off doing stuff here for morning errands. And then everyone came back together in the Troll Skull Manor. And I don't remember a lot of what happened. But I do remember that Onyx came back with his armor. Yeah, that's right. Tipsy decided to join today's adventure. Then Onyx came back from Steam and Steel with the new bone armor, which then he was handing out the silver mantles that he made out of the dragon scale that Tipsy gave him. But Tipsy, now knowing that silver is the only thing that could hurt were-rats, where he's concerned about his were-rats, he refused it, and then narrative said that Tipsy flats out refuses it and does not put on the silver mantle, which makes Onyx very upset because gifts is his love language, and he took that as an offense. So that made things real tense, and I remember I was super flushed, just really emotionally. It's a very interesting acting exercise, this show, because on one hand, I was stumbling and bumbling as Tipsy going, no, but then also Onyx was furious. So I'm very interested to see if I will actually cry for... I dabbled at it already here, but it's just interesting. So then they left the Troll Skull Manor in order to find the first doppelganger that Bonnie, who is the waitress at the Yawning Portal, has asked for help to find and relay a message, where they're going down to the theater, where they went into a courtyard, and then out from the dirt itself, a piglet, which I built off of a bullet, came rumbling out of the ground and attacked everyone, including having a confusion ray. So that was a Groundhog Days. That's right. And my boys actually did pretty well beating it up. I forgot that it was half frozen because Onyx critted, but normally for encounters, sometimes I have to tweak the numbers behind the scenes, and I was like, oh, the bullet has a lot of health, and I was like, oh, let's see how my boys do. And my boys really did a great job kicking its butt. And so they defeated the groundhog, who is now stuck head first into the ground, and some stunned city guardsmen and bystanders are now filling up the courtyard where the Seven Masks Theater opens its doors, and a human came out and talked to my boys, and this human revealed himself as familiar with the doppelgangers, and in a perfect Sean Connery impression, he said his name was Sheen. And that's where we pick up, where Sheen, this average-looking human with a bit of a belly and thinning extreme salt and pepper thinning hair and a goatee, looks down at Tutu's outstretched hand, which has the doppelganger identifying coin in it. And he reached in his pocket and pulled out his own coin and says, "You can call me Sheen. Follow me." And so he turns around and ducks into the Seven Masks Theater, where Toot and Rock begin to follow, but then Tipsy goes, "Well, hold on! Oh, shit!" And so then he goes back to the giant school bus size ground pork. Is that a thing? Where he goes, "Oh, hold on. Sorry." And so he kind of gestures to the 5 city guardsmen and the crowd that's now gathering in complete awe. "I need to get hold on a second." And so then he goes to the front where the back of the neck is kind of in the dirt, and he will try and retrieve something, and then Onyx at the entranceway of the theater kind of looks around, impatient but also curious. And then Tipsy, "Okay, I need to, God, stuck in its face." And he will try and retrieve the magical automatic throwing knife, because as part of my re-listening to every episode, then he left that in the cheek of the piglet. I'm going to turn that light on to see the change. I got a new light also, because it was just this one and this one, but now it's a full-on... No, I'm making this into a studio. It's great. So, Tipsy, the face of the piglet is in the dirt. Like, it's trying to burrow back underneath. So, Tipsy will roll... Oh, I don't have my pages right. That's right. Tipsy will roll... Animal handling. Well, what's like a squeezy one? Squeeze, like acrobatics, to try and squeeze your body into a dexterity. Yeah, I'll do acrobatics, because that's cool. So he goes up, and there's not a lot of room between the neck of the piglet and the ground / tunnel. So he's going to try and squeeze his way in there. He's going to roll acrobatics. A 9 plus a 9, 18. Cool. So then he sees kind of the beginning butchered spot where Onyx was trying to tear out a vertebra, and he goes, "Oh my, gross." And then let me just squirrel my way into, and summoning his inner rat, then he kind of squishes down, and then army crawls and like platypuses almost into this tunnel. And with an 18, he will... With an 18, he will go into the tunnel, and like he has dark vision, because Toot is the only one in my party that does not have dark vision. So he will roll investigation to try and find the magical broken ass overpowered throwing knife. And with a 17 plus 2, 19 investigation, then yes, with the little light bleeding in over the back of the piglet, it shines off of this shiny, just a couple inches of metal sticking out of the piglet's face. And Tipsy goes, "Oh, yes, I need that. You come here." And so he gets his magical automatic throwing knife back. And then I will roll right now to see if something is a thing. I will roll a 12 because I never roll those, really. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah's on top of the ball. So 7-10, and Sarah says speed run. That is where you take a video game and then you try and complete it as efficiently as possible, but also as quickly as possible. So like the first level of Mario, like everyone knows the exact like ways to jump and the timing of running into the bullet and stuff. So thank you. And then Sarah also says my phone also corrected that to Speedroo, which sounds like a new extreme version of Drag Race. That's hilarious. Dragroo. Speedroo. Speedroo, sir. And then it's like that epileptic flashy NASCAR one that we unfortunately saw as kids. That was a heck of a show. And the movie, oi! I saw the movie in my periphery because I was at someone's house that was playing it, and it was way too much. Let's also see if that tweet came in. Laptop, I'm so sorry. When I make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, then getting the whole gaming system, and then Henry Cavill can make it for me. He can assemble it, which will be very nice. Also, I for the next little while, I'm gonna have to be talking myself. I will not buy a 3D printer with my tax refund. I will not buy a 3D printer with my tax refund. I'm glad to be here, y'all. Thank you for being here as well. I'm very tired. And that's the last time I'm going to say it, because I hate going back through my podcast, editing it, and I'm like, yes, Victor, you said it like 5 or 6 times already. You can say it once or twice. So, evens, yes. Odds, no. 4 is even, so yes. So with the little silver glinting out of the pig's face, then Tipsy reaches down and pulls it out, and it comes off easily with a little splurt of blood. But then also he looks to one side, and then let's see if even, yes, odd, no. That is a 3, no. So he looks to the left, and there is indeed like this short, curved, pronounced tusk on one side, but it is not broken. It is still intact. And Tipsy is weighing in his head, okay, he would really like it if I don't have strength though. Can I sleight of hand? No, it's stuck in there real good. And then back at the surface, he hears excuse me, you need to leave so that we can process this. Hold on a second, I'm doing something for a friend because, God damn it. Do I have anything to... I have a short sword. Great, I'm going to try and hack at it with the short sword. So he will try and hack at it with the short sword. Attack bonus is +6. 16 +6. Excellent. With a 22, he will. And then just because I like rolling as many dice as I can, then a 1d6 +3 piercing. He has 2 short swords. Interesting. Do I want to 2-weapon fight it? That might be fun. Yeah. Let's see how much damage the first one does, though. 3 +3 piercing. Yes. So he will put the magical automatic throwing knife back into his inventory and then pull out, shrink, this short sword, which again is a short sword, but it's just short because Tipsy's a gnome and he's short, 2'10". So he whacks at it once, and then it kind of like chips. And it has like it right at the base too, and it's like this good chunk, but it's still pretty stuck in there. And so with a practiced ease, then he hits with the first one, and then he takes out his second short sword and then hits with it. +6 attack bonus also. 10 + 6. You know what? Yeah, 16. Yeah, that hits. And then okay, 2-weapon fighting is a bonus action. Light melee weapon. Use bonus action to use second light melee. No ability modifier to damage. So this is just a 1d6, which is a 2. Yeah, that'll be good, huh? An 8. So with that, then Tipsy strikes once, strikes twice, and a pig tusk. Super good with rice. Mom, you know that better than I do. Throw it up in the chat, please. And there's and the tusk broke off, but it fell down off of the face of the piglet and kind of tumbled down into the tunnel. And then Tipsy hears above, "So really, we need to just hold on 2 seconds. I will be right up. I swear, I will be right there." And then Tipsy kind of blindly, except he can see because it's dark vision. So he climbs down the gross face of the pig, and then walks over to where the tusk fell, and then puts it in his inventory. So now, tusk. Tipsy will climb back up, and he's real good at that, but just for roll. Acrobatics. Oh, natural 1. So he tries to jump onto the face of the piglet, but like his first foothold is in the bottom jaw of the pig, so it kind of, and then he loses his footing, and then he tumbles down, and then the tusk falls out of his inventory, and then just clatters 20 more feet down the tunnel, and then Tipsy getting up. God damn it! Are you kidding me? All right. And then he grumbles all the way over there. And then you see like some more light at the end of the tunnel with the pig, because the 5 remaining city guardsmen and a couple like bystander volunteers are like dragging the piglet back out onto the surface. And Tipsy goes, "Oh, hold on. And then he quickly grabs the tusk and then jumps over, and then tries another acrobatics to grab onto the last little bit of the pig emerging. And with an 8 plus a 9, 17. Yep, that does it. So Tipsy then grabs the bottom lip of the pig and is just swinging as the rest of the meat gets onto the thing. And then Tipsy just scrambles up and then stares at the city guardsman, and then starts walking towards the theater, staring daggers at him, but he just retrieved his dagger, so he's not going to do it because he's being mindful of his resources, and goes back. And then Onyx, who is okay, there we go, Dodie or something, stabbing once, stabbing twice, stabbing piggy tusk with rice. Perfect. Yes, this is just pretty much a show where I talk to my family every week, and that's very, very nice, very lovely. Mabem Bam, my brother and I, they made a whole podcasting enterprise of doing just that, except this is me playing with myself. So thanks for watching me playing with myself, my mother and my father and my sister, and internet strangers and friends and family. Okay, so Tipsy is staring daggers at that city guardsman, and then is walking back to the theater, and Onyx, with his arms crossed and in a huff, is watching Tipsy emerge from the hole in the ground. And Onyx, as Tipsy comes forward, then Onyx, feeling a little ballsy, opens up his mouth, and then he quickly shuts his mouth because thrust in his arms is this half-broken tusk. And then Tipsy, without really making eye contact, walks past and goes, "I'm sorry again, Onyx." And then walks into the building, and then Onyx uncrosses his arms a little bit to catch the tusk, and he's in awe of it. And then turns around without looking up, and then climbs up the remaining steps into the hallway of the Seven Masks Theater. If I had just a little bit more time, I would have had the Globe background, like the Globe Theater, if you've never seen it before, with the white plaster and the dark wood supports. And then, who's that guy? Has he been there the whole time? I don't like that. I'm changing that around, so that's another thing. And just put him behind Waddles. That's what I get for finding a free picture online that I had permission because it's a free website. So, then resuming in the Seven Masks Theater hallway, then Sheen, who is about halfway down the hallway now, and Rock and Toot Toot have been assisting him, this older gentleman, by correcting and picking up mannequins with various costume pieces that toppled over onto the ground when the piglet burst through the floor on the outside. And Sheen has been... So that was, you just correcting it right there, that was when I was Igor for Young Flesh Golem. It was a comical musical, and it was honestly one of my better performances. And then as Toot Toot is lifting up this hunched over mannequin and corrects it with like a burlap sack kind of top, then out comes this this light wooden bowl, and Tipsy puts it like kind of on the back, like, and what did you say? Which side is the hump go on? And then Sheen says, "What hump?" And then he keeps walking, and then Sheen goes to like this other mannequin, and he looks up. Well, funny that commotion happened outside, because this is when I played Rosencrantz in a show called Hamlet, and it's about a man cursed with pig deformity, and his tearjerker of a soliloquy goes, to bacon or not to bacon, that is the question. I think it has a better meter than some other adaptations of the play. I played Rosencrantz, and my friend was Gilden Swine, and then he walks on. This is pretty much a part in a video game when you're following the NPC down the hallway, and they're taking their time, and you go around and like you look at all the art that they stop in front of, and like, this is the 3-sentence story about this, and then they keep walking slowly, and like you walk down and back up the hallway, and then you just stand at the other end of the hallway waiting for them to walk slowly to you. That's fun. That's a good video mechanic. So, and then he goes, well, actually, pointing over at Rock, my half-orc wizard, I almost played a wizard once. In fact, I almost played a great wizard twice. The first one, I didn't get it. It was a bunch of names that almost sounded familiar. So I didn't do that. I read the script and I was not interested. And then the second one, the other actor passed away, and they asked me to step in, but I didn't want to be a part of this children's fantasy, so I passed on that as well. But then I was offered, and this is true, I was offered to play the part of a necromancer with dinosaurs, and I decided not to do that either. And then Tipsy, who's catching up with Onyx, still starstruck at the tusk in his hands, walking up. Question. What's a dinosaur? Oh, well, they are terrible thunder lizards. It's a story about a necromancer who spends all of his gold. He spared no expense and then brought these just... You know a lizard, right? And then I know what a lizard is. Well, and then he gestures around to the hallway and then the theater outside. Imagine one as big as that.
That is ridiculous. Oh, so you mean like a dragon?
No, but I did voice a dragon for a thing. Victor hasn't seen Dragonheart, so let me look that up real quick. Dragonheart. Yes, I did. 1996. Draco. That's all. That's all I know about it, but I did it. So, just little Sean Connery jokes here. And then finally reaching the end of the hallway, then Sheen. Okay. Dodie or something says, ghost.
What hump?
The references are fantastic, thank you. Oftentimes during the week, I take a walk by myself, and then I rehearse these scenes in my head. In the first, I would say third of D&Me the show, then I would actually rehearse the scenes out loud, and then try and recreate them for the stream, and I was like, that's not a good... I don't enjoy that. But sometimes just my mind just writes the scenes, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try and do as much of that as I can. Not recreating it, but writing down the main points so that I can go off. But thank you. So when Sheen finally reaches near the end of the hallway, then he goes, actually, after I turned all of those down, then I played in a movie with a bunch of monsters, and I was a fighter subclass called the Gunslinger. I was a sharpshooter. And then he turned, I need my glasses. And then he goes off finally into, good, okay. Then, you know what? Yeah. So, they reach the end of this hallway, and then, Rock, who has been very politely listening, goes, oh, okay, so we are turning into, another hallway. And then, yep, sure enough, there's even more hallway, just as long as the first one. And then Sheen starts off with, actually, I think the Seven Masks Theater is a very clever name because you can interpret it in many different ways as a thespian. And then you hear Tipsy, what?
What, no one else?
All right, whatever. Yes, well, as a devoted thespian, as someone who's devoted their whole life to being a thespian, I find multiple meanings in things that, as much as I can. So, the seven masks on the facade may represent the 7 stages of grief. So the first is shock and denial, the second is pain and guilt, the third is anger and bargaining, the fourth is depression, the fifth is the upward turn, 6 is the reconstruction and working through, and then 7 is acceptance and hope. So that, in a way, is following the dramatic structure of a story, and it's almost encouraging because you go through the shock and the pain and the anger, but then there's always that upwards turn of most good modern theater pieces. So that's one excellent thing. And then the second is actually how Hold, please. Oh, okay. So then Sheen is walking. So it could be the 7 stages of grief, or it also could be reflects a person's journey throughout life. There's a famous playwright who is most well known for shaking a spear. And of course, ours are blunted and rubber tipped so that they wouldn't hurt anybody. But his famous piece is: all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And with that, then kind of my boys are out in the middle of the hallway, and Tipsy is just walking around in circles like you do in video games, and Toot Toot is listening, very invested in the performance arts. Rock he's appreciative of the academia, and then Onyx is he's probably like 70% into the hallway, still walking. Still looking at the tusk in his hand. But the creeping like a snail unwillingly to school is kind of... Tipsy's like, because the NPC is slowly walking. And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strings, oaths, and bearded like the pard. I wonder what that means. Jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly, and then he pats his rotund stomach. With good capon lied, with eye severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th age, and then Tipsy, and then on Rock is actually, The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well shaved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again towards childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. But last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history, is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. And with that, Toot Toot. Oh! Incredible. That was masterful. You remembered all that? And then Sheen waves his hand. As you like. I like it very much. Wasn't that great? And then Rock. Yes, it was. It was really quite fantastic. And then Onyx. Oh, what? He hit the end of the hall and was startled and looked around. And then Tipsy, who was doing figure eights now, just, okay, let's go. Hey, let's go. And then he kind of looks, he quickly hurries with his dexterity over to the other end of the hallway and looks down. And, okay, so it's not another hallway. Ooh. Oh, okay, so... Minor Illusion 42, hello, thank you. That's my second first time chat in this episode, so that's incredible. Thank you. Stopping in for the first time. I have no idea what's going on, but I like it. I can't stay, but I'll be back. Thank you, Minor Illusion. I was being Sean Connery doing Shakespeare. Who would have thought that in February 2022 that would have happened? So, yeah. You can find all the videos everywhere, Minor Illusion. So you do you, man. So, anyways, so Tipsy runs to the end of the hallway, then looks around, and then, okay, good, it's not another hallway. And then he's kind of impatiently looking back at Sheen, who's just taking his sweet time and walking, and looking up at Toot Toot, who's just, wow. And then Tipsy, who's just impatiently foot tapping. He will do. Whoa, baby! That's a natural 20. Plus an 8 for perception. And he, with his foot tapping, is looking up at Sheen, and just, he's moving so slow. And then Toot Toot, who's starry-eyed. And then Onyx, who seems to have received the tusk well. Good. And then Rock, who's a little impatient, but he's appreciating, again, the academic mind. But it's interesting, because what Tipsy can see of Rock is that Rock appreciates the 7 stages of grief, but appreciates the soliloquy less, because poetry and like writing, like fictional writing, isn't as impressive to Rock as nonfiction or like learning or education or stuff. So Rock is still deciding on what he thinks of Sheen, who they just met, and then he's kind of like looking around, and then he sees this kind of shutter in the air above the hallway at the rafters. He sees like this movement in the air from one ceiling beam to the next, and then Tipsy,
what the heck?
And then stares at where the disturbance of the air like lands, and then Tipsy staring in that direction, and then like wonders if it was just an imagination or if it is gone. And then he hears like kind of scratching along the wooden beam. And then Tipsy,
Whoa! That I definitely heard, and I saw it.
and then Sheen, aren't you like, oh, you heard it, okay, but you saw it. That's honestly incredible. Do you know what for? Oh, you know what? You, my Loxodon friend, do you know what a ghost light is in terms of theater? And then Toot Toot, well, yes, I do. So a ghost light is when you close up a theater or an auditorium at night, then you leave something on, a light, so that if anyone has to go inside the light, inside the auditorium later, then they are not walking around in pitch darkness, which would be the case for me, because I am the only one in this party that does not have dark vision. I'm quite sure, but it's a little bit more romantic than that. So a ghost light is the presence that we always have. And what you just saw and heard, and he looks up towards the rafts, is our perennial ghost light. A living candle lit with continual flame, as it were. And then Rock perks his half-orc head up a little bit, because that is definitely some magic. Sheen just mentioned continual flame, which is a spell. But he's near harmless, and I would keep an eye on your pockets if you wish to keep your belongings. And then with a sly grin, then Sheen turns the corner into this big auditorium with rows and rows and rows and columns of seats. And then on stage is a sight to see. Toot Toot is just, oh, amazing. And so Toot Toot is oh, amazing. And Rock, he lets out a gasp, like an impressed, oh, incredible. And then Tipsy, holy shit. Wait, what's wrong? And Sheen walking backwards now down the aisles towards the front of the stage. Gentlemen, this is Seven Masks Theater. We are rehearsing a piece right now. You let the actors do their bit. We're not ready for an audience quite yet, even though I certainly am. But I'm giving them a chance to learn their lines more, which they need. And then he says out loud to the stage, which has a couple figures on it. One is kind of holding like this big mascot head outfit. Another one is putting on knee pads. But the stage is 3/4 filled up with this half of a building that is now currently like rotating. So you see the outside of like a tavern, and it's 2 stories tall, and it's like you can hear the just weight and strain of this half of a building turn on a turntable. And then you see the inside, the cut innards, the kind of exploded out. Like if you take a building and cut it in half, then you can see the inside of it as it turns, and it sure enough looks like the yawning portal. And Tutu goes, the attention to detail is phenomenal. Yes, we have quite good set decorators. It's marvelous. Yes, gentlemen, if you enjoy shows, I love this one. It's very meta. It is very self-aware. It pokes fun at itself a whole bunch of times. But there's plenty of good dramatic moments that are well played out. The actor is incredible. And he's walking down, and as we get closer to now one of the sets of stairs leading up onto the stage, then Toot is right now in awe and looking around, like looking back at all the seats and looking up at this elaborate 100 candle chandelier candelabra above, and the mural work on the ceiling, and these little scones with continual flame, one would imagine, in them. And then as they're going up the stairs, then just in a kind of here, and deep-a-dee-doo, that is a 4. 4 is better. 15, but it was at disadvantage. So a 4 plus 7 perception. Then he's looking around and like at the stairs that are inside this turntable tavern, and he's figuring out like how is this kind of possible, because there's like furniture, and then upstairs is like this bedroom kind of with its own door. And he looks vaguely at the actors, and all of the actors have man buns and brown beards, and then look up at him with almost the same face, and they all wave. And then Tutu, do what now? And then Sheen goes, all right, now follow me. And so then he takes him backstage to this area that's painted all black, but there are flames there. There's a table with some props, and Sheen takes him to another corridor, and Tipsy, God damn it. But this one's shorter, and there's a couple doors open. And then at the very end is this door with a gold hexagon on it. And then Sheen opens the door, and he goes, if you gentlemen would follow me into the dressing room there, we can have a more private conversation. And then Toot, but did they all, please go inside. And so everyone goes inside, and then Sheen is at the door letting everyone in, and then closes it, and then you can hear a lock. And then Sheen straightens up, then turns around to my boys. Well, I can tell you that that is a very rare coin you have in your possession. May I ask how it is in your hands? And then Toot Toot goes, well, if we may, is this area good to talk? Are we good to talk here? Yes. I've been here for a while, and they've given me the best dressing room, and I will say that the proprietors here, they... when I rehearse lines, I do it very loudly and enthusiastically, so they gave me a more soundproof dressing room. So anything short of pure shouting, then our conversation is very safe here. And Tipsy will roll a 4 plus a perception. So with a 12, then at this, we're very safe here. Then Tipsy kind of looks around and at the ceiling to see if that invisible thing was following them. But with a 12, he can't tell. And then Sheen goes, yes, so we may talk freely here. And Toot Toot says, well, from what I understand, your friend, Bonnie, I'm not sure if Bonnie's her actual name. Yes, Princess Bonnie. Oh, well, that works out nicely. Princess Bonnie, she asked for our assistance, and she gave this to us as a token of goodwill and for the assurance that we could talk to whoever she needs help with. So, you are her tutor, I believe? Yes. I taught her everything she knows about shapeshifting. And with that, the older man in front of you, his outline itself kind of shivers and then becomes fluid. And Sheen says, See, the thing about shapeshifting is you need to be loose, fluid. And he starts, like, stretching, and his salt and pepper, white and black hair kind of wave a little bit in the wind, like grass in a field. Excuse me. It also helps that I'm one of the best actors I know. Ugh. And with this final, like, stretch backwards, then he curls in on himself, leaning forwards, and his whole body shrinks to that of a child, like this redhead, freckled child, but then he grows even smaller into that of a babe that he was mentioning earlier. And he goes, See, I'm the best actor I know because I can impersonate anyone. For example, I am a child. Wah, mother. And then he kind of bubbles back up into the kid, and then in an impressive display of self-agility or just manipulation of form, then he turns from this kid into a scrawny teenager, and then into this young man. Look, I am now a 20-year-old. And he kind of morphs into, like, his hair grows out kind of like his face also like does this weird twitching thing as well as his body, where it's those videos of where you take a picture of yourself every day. So he starts out and he kind of just shudders forward in age and years, and he grows tall and into a man, and he doesn't look like Sheen from earlier. He looks like a different man, like almost I don't know, I don't have a good name, but he then starts leaning forward, and then he diminishes in size, but he gains in wrinkles and gray hair, and it's an expert party trick, and Toot Toot is just absolutely amazing. Well, if you're seeing that's great, that's just one lifetime. Here's many. And then standing in front of him is this form that rises and shrinks and thins and fattens, and he morphs through faces and races of both species and like human races, very much like the end of Michael Jackson's black and white video. So he's morphing through that, and Toot Toot is just in awe watching this happen. And then Rock, his eyes finally light up. You are doing that with so little effort. Yeah, many decades of practice, my boy. And then he morphs through it, and at this point, Sheen is kind of showing off. And Tipsy is there going, okay, that's way too, that's a lot. Can I? And then he like slams his eyes shut and as if he's getting dizzy from a roller coaster. Can we just talk to you? Like we have a message to deliver. And then Sheen goes, oh, of course. I'm sorry if I was going too fast for you, lad. And then Tipsy opens up his eyes, and then he sees Tipsy in front of him going, oh God. And then Tipsy raises his hand, and then Sheen raises his hand as Tipsy. Look, I am a gnome now. And then, can you do someone else? It's really weird. Bonnie kind of did that last time. Oh, so she is picking up on my tricks. Good. She is a learner, that one. And then he looks over at Onyx, and then he kind of like, as his eyes move, then he morphs into Onyx. But with this, he kind of still keeps looking at Rock and Toot Toot, and then he kind of does this dance move where he looks at... Tipsy looks at Onyx and then shifts into Onyx, but then is looking at Rock, and so half of Rock and Onyx. Ronix is back, and then going into Toot Toot, and then the ears elongate and the nose extends into a 7'3" being now that's morphing through. Tusks are going in and out, and the skin goes from a dark tan to a caramel brown, and then splashes with light heliotrope. And then Tipsy's eyes are thrown in there, and it's kind of like this almost majestic water dance as he's twirling about. And Tipsy goes, that is far more distracting than what I just asked. Please, just I'm gonna look out for, I think, the things in here. And then Toot Toot, yeah, fine. This is the most magical thing I've ever seen. I can do this a little bit. And then Toot Toot casts, through a really weird, gross, he casts Disguise Self, and then he shrinks the foot down to 6'3", to what Sheen presented himself as first, which was the salt and pepper Sean Connery. And then Sheen, still kaleidoscoping through my boys. Oh, well, that's a neat little trick. But then with Rock's thinner arm. No, let's do Tipsy's smallest, thinnest arm. Then it grows back and goes back and then gains a whole lot of meat and is now this muscular, meaty Loxodon hand, and then whacks about a foot over Sean Connery's head and then hits... no, that was more of a slap. It hits... Yeah. It hits Toot Toot where Toot Toot's head actually is. So, again, disguise self, you can shrink yourself or extend in any direction. Your image can, but your actual meat self is still the 7'3" Loxodon. So, Sheen hits Toot Toot. Ow! Hold on. How did you know that I was up here? And then Sheen, again, years of study and practice, boy. This was disguise self, was it not? Yes, but I'm pretty good at it, actually. And then he gives up the ghost and turns back into Toot Toot. Ow. That rung one of my ears. And so he, like, flaps one of the ears out. Actually, I dabble a little bit, but Rock here is an illusion wizard. And then this morphing kaleidoscope looks over at Rock. Oh, yes. So, this is your bag, eh? And Rock completely. So, 3 out of my 4 boys have been star-struck so far. Onyx with the tusk, Toot Toot with theater, and then Rock now almost mouth agape, drooling a little bit. Yes, you have done the most beautiful magic I have ever seen. And then Sheen stops his morphing into Rock and then looks back at him. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say. That was more than anything I could ever do. Anything you can do yet. But it looks like you're studying, and then he nods his head at Rock's spellbook. Yes, I am, but my last spell was a abjuration cantrip where I can waterproof things. Could you tutor me? Rock says with a flavor of recognition, because the last time he asked someone to teach him, a man of years, then he was met with disappointing racism. And racism's always disappointing, y'all. But then Rock now has a little bit of apprehension. And then Sheen goes, well, I've taught the High Court of anywhere? Is it anywhere or everywhere? I think it's anywhere. Dang me and my cleverness. Well, I've taught the High Court of anywhere, so if I can teach anyone, I can certainly try to teach you. But first, let me, again, I'm afraid I've made your gnome friend a little bit dizzy, so let me... All right, narcissist, said in, like the mythological, not that I was called, that was the historical mythological. Oh, I completely understood the reference. What a fabulous, sharp imagery to, yes. And then Rock blinking at Rock, then Sheen. Okay, well, let me change into something a little bit more comfortable. and then he goes behind the folding, what's it? Room divider. Hey, I got it. He goes behind a room divider, and then you see the light silhouette behind where it's normally like a curvaceous female form, but in this case it's just going through a whole bunch of forms, and then it just kind of almost melts and blobs out, and then a towel from the top. No, a bathrobe, because that's funnier. A bathrobe from the top of the room divider gets yanked backwards in behind it, and then out like slimes this red-brown wet dirt mound almost, with like black eyes, but is wearing this very nice like white cotton bathrobe that it finishes tying over its even more rotund belly, and then it kind of slimes forward. I have a lot of notes, so it was a challenge of me writing it all and figuring out. Okay, so he kind of slime like a slug person. Mom says like an unshelled Zoidberg. Makes his way over to this like recliner, and then he lorps into it, and then puts his elbows on the arms of the recliner and puts his globby fingers together. Now, I believe you have a message for me. And excuse me. Then both Rock and Toot Toot are kind of just speechless, kind of mouths agape. And then Tipsy, whose eyes are still like wrenched closed, goes, "Okay, listen, you two tall dorkos. Bonnie told us to come and find you, and and then he like, oh, that's interesting." Yeah, with a 16 perception, well, with a 16 plus an 8 perception, then he remembered Sheen's advice from earlier, and then his hands clasp to his pockets, like quickly go to his pockets, where in the mid-air between his pocket and his hand, then Tipsy, as his hand encroaches the pocket, feels this scaly thing retract, and he goes, "Oh gosh!" And then he like checks over his pockets. What was that? I told you earlier that he's a trickster, that one. He, again, do you have? I have everything. But what is it? 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 And then Waddles like sticks his head out. What is it? Don't worry. He's fine. He's just having fun. He sometimes returns anything he does take from you. Boys, close your mouths before he grabs your tongue. And then Toot Toot and Rock both like clamp their mouths closed. Good. And then Sheen, this mud form, kind of looks over into the corner of the room, and then Onyx is maybe overwhelmed because he's not doing a whole lot, but his tusk is at his side, and his bone armor is like sparkling in the candlelight of like this table, like with a veneer with a mirror on it and a whole bunch of pop pieces and like ironic like head form with like a beard pinned into it and stuff. All right. So anyways, you young gnome, you were saying?
Okay.
And then Tipsy just continuing with his hands totally like clenching his pockets.
Bonnie told us to come here to tell Princess Bonnie told us to come here to tell you that nowhere knows you're here, and so they're sending people called the Mahouts.
And then he looks up at Toot Toot, who kind of shakes himself out of the stupor upon hearing this term,
because the Mahouts are coming, and they might be coming for you because you're the first one to be found because you're the easiest to find.
Oh dear, that's a lot.
Yeah. So, did Princess Bonnie like want us for you to hide or for you to fight? I didn't really get a sense of that.
I can hide very well, but it sounds like preparations need to be made if they are coming for us, or we need to find the others and then flee. Which is a shame, because I love it here. Waterdeep is fantastic. Thank you for telling me, boys. I know it wasn't, well, especially with that ham. Did I have a joke here written for the ham? Hamming up in front of the theater.
Oh my god, that's what I said.
Oh, clever. I know it took a lot for you to get here, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the expediency. And the fact that you are in allegiance with Princess Bonnie's a good sign, because she is an excellent judge of character. And speaking of character, real quick, did you know that the origin of role, whenever an actor takes on a role, is because in the olden times, then the script, your part, was actually written on a parchment that was rolled up into a scroll. So when you were handed a role, R-O-L-E, it was a roll, R-O-L-L, of a character that an actor then takes. And then both Rock and Toot Toot are just,
I did not know that, but I love knowing. Thank you very much.
Yes, my apologies. I spew trivia when I'm nervous, and this was upsetting news, but it's good for us to know now so that we may react accordingly. So, Bonnie already asked for your help, but would you gentlemen be willing to assist us? And then Toot Toot, absolutely. We would be honored. I've never met doppelgangers before, and I am wholly impressed with the two I have met and befriended now. And then the giant pile of dirt smiles real bigly. Well, isn't that just delightful to hear? And boy, excuse me, I don't think I know any of your names. I know you're not the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So, and then Toot Toot, oh, my apologies. This is Tipsy, the Forest Gnome Rogue. This is Onyx, the Dwarf Barbarian. I am Toot Toot, the Loxodon Bard. And then Rock goes,
and I am Rock, the Half-Orc Wizard.
Ah, the Rock.
I should retire now. Excellent. Well, it's great meeting you all. Rock, you come back here when I'm not rehearsing and when we don't have a show, and I will teach you a thing or two about illusion. And then the mud form kind of turns into Rock's face for just a moment and winks and then turns back. Gentlemen, if you could see yourselves out, we are going to do a dress rehearsal here quickly of low stealth roll, which is the farce that we're doing outside, where the noises come off, and it's a pretty good 3-act. It's some of the pinnacle of performance, if I don't say so myself. And then Toot Toot, absolutely. Then Tipsy goes, can we get free tickets? Huh. Ballsy, I like it. You know what? With helping an entire nation of shapeshifters, and doppelgangers, then yes, I can provide some tickets for you. I will come up with a date. Victor will come up with a date later on when the show is. But go to the box office and then... Oops. Victor didn't actually think that they would do the play. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh, well. So, then... Let's do fun. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. It means a lot. Let's do some fun rolls. So, this is going to be Onyx and Rock. However, that Onyx 19. Holy cow. Rock 15. This is Perception. Onyx Perception. Oh, plus a 2. So Onyx rolled a 21 altogether. Rock rolled a Perception 16. 21, 16. Toot Toot. Oh my gosh. Toot Toot rolled natural 1. Plus 3, which is 4, but it's still natural 1. And then... Great. So Toot Toot's still like... Going to see a play? Oh, I wonder what a play in Waterdeep is going to be. I wonder what... So he's stuck in his thoughts of performance and entertainment and amusement, him being a bard. And then Rock is... Well, then here's the real question. Oh, boy. Okay. Well... Then... Cool. So, Toot Toot is off in his head, just... Oh, I wonder what theater in Waterdeep's going to be. That's going to be wonderful. And Rock also feels a brush up against his side, and he... Oh, that was a... Oh, I unfortunately... And then, because my thing rolled a 9, that didn't sound good, huh? My creature rolled a 9, and then Sheen goes, oh, right, Wishes, come here. And then you see this... oh, shoot. I actually don't know the answer to that. Let's see here. Okay. Interesting, fascinating. Excuse me while I read. Okay, so then Sheen says, "Wishes, come here," and then this kind of this cackling forms around the room, and Onyx is like tracking this movement, and then Tipsy goes, yeah, that thing, yeah. Also tracking the movement because Onyx rolled a 21, but it's this like kind of jellyfish disturbing the air around the room and whipping around and flying and hopping and at 8:21 Dodie or something said 10-minute noises off. Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna happen, but it's gonna be very good. This invisible thing is flying around the room, and Tipsy, Onyx is like staring at it with like a hunter's precision. Would Onyx get a level as a ranger for hunter's mark? Holy cow, that's cool. When does Rangers... I'm going to read it coming up with me reading classes, but... because I don't have the thumb notches for classes yet. When do hunters get... when do they get Hunter's Mark? Because that's awesome. Oh, does it have to be 2? Oh, nuts. That's very interesting, though. Beastmaster... Onyx multi-classing as a barbarian and a ranger. I just broke Victor's mind. Cool. But Onyx, until then, is watching... when you're good at something without knowing any of the details about it, you're just super, like, you're a prodigy at it. So he's tracking this invisible thing where Tipsy's just kind of darting around chaotically. Onyx is actually tracking it. And then Sheen goes, "Wishes, come here, seriously." And then kind of tumbling somersaulting over itself, it materializes this violet dragon, this tiny little dragon with like butterfly wings, and it, as it somersaults, and it like displays them and is flapping near the recliner's arm. And Sheen kind of sticks out his hand and goes, "Wishes," and then the fairy dragon has something in his mouth and is just shaking his head, but also like laughing. "Wishes." Then the fairy dragon lands. Wishes lands. "Wishes, these are good guys, so they're on our team. They're part of the play. They're part of the cast and crew. So, if you don't mind." And then Wishes kind of watching, side-eyed, like a dog with something in his mouth, and he puts his muzzle over the hand of Sheen, and then like 3 gold coins into his hand from Rock's coin purse. And then Sheen goes, "They're a little bit slimy, but I believe these are yours." And then Rock steps forward, staring. They're just, everyone's enamored at Wishes and the illusionary magic and theater. This is a good episode for everyone, except for Victor because he's tired. But Rock steps forward and like kind of accepts the spit coins. in his hand, and since they are 3 gold, then Rock goes, "Did you know that these are actually," he picks one up, "called dragons here in Waterdeep? Like you." And then he kind of pokes it a little bit out towards the fairy dragon, whose neck retracts a little bit of just something coming towards its face, but sees the hands sticking out towards it, and wishes kind of side eyes over to Sheen, and then Sheen nods his head in approval, and then the dragon looks back. Do you speak Sylvan? Well, yes, she does. Fairy dragons speak Draconic and Sylvan. I need to go get that book. Are we done here? And then Toot Toot, I guess so. Message has been delivered. Sheen, do that what you will. Here, actually. Then Toot Toot will hand over a paper bird. And then Sheen picks up a quill from his desk. Well, I appreciate that. Autographs are few and far in between. No, that is a paper bird. That is for you write on it, and then you say any of our names. But if you want to say Toot Toot or Rock, it'll fly directly towards us. Oh, clever magic! Isn't it just magnificent? And then Rock, nods in his head, and he's thinking, okay, so, bed, delivery, so, future Victor, Toot Toot only has 2 paper birds now, but Sheen has a paper bird if he needs to use it. So, now reclining in his recliner, this mud form leans back and goes, "Now, gentlemen, I have a routine, a pre-show warm-up of taking a nap. So if you could excuse me, you can find your way out using the hallways that we just traversed." And then Tipsy goes, "Okay." And then he walks out of the room, and then Onyx just follows along Tipsy with not any malice or anger in his face, which is nice. And then Toot Toot is like leaving, and then just taking a quick glance at all of the posters on all the walls and like all the memorabilia on the mirror desk. I want to be where this Sheen guy is. I want to see them acting. And then he makes his way out, and then Rock, who's kind of exiting out backwards, is staring at Sheen, whose dirt face already closes his eyes and opens his mouth and starts snoring. And then the fairy dragon is watching him slyly with a smirk as Rock exits, and then with a wink, then the fairy dragon disappears, and Wishes is still Wishes has resumed invisibility. And with that, my dears, I am going to actually call tonight early. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight. This was fun. A night at the theater. Mom says, "Oh, cute." Yep. Wishes is a good addition. So let me get to my outro sheet. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Victor Rivera, and this is D&MeAdventures, a one-man show where I play D&D with myself. I stream Wednesday nights on Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I upload the video the following morning, Thursdays, on my YouTube page. I am thinking about doing D&Artistry on Tuesday nights. and maybe a D&Me like the drink on Monday, which is Valentine's Day. Nothing on Sunday, which is Super Bowl. I forgot to make a Super Bowl joke in there somewhere, but this show will tonight. Today's show will be up tomorrow, Thursday, February 10th, and next week's episode will be live February 16th. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and podcast form, and a bunch of other stuff. Where on my link tree? That's linktree, linktr.ee/DnMeAdventures. I roll to see which of my characters gives tonight's outro. Last week was Tipsy. Angelito Guapo says, great, thanks. Thank you, Papi. Alright, so, Onyx is 1, Rock is 2, Toot Toot is 3, Onyx is 4, Rock is 5, Toot Toot is 6. 5, Rock. Ladies and gentlemen and fellow audience members, that was incredible, right? To see someone shift so seamlessly, and from what it sounded like, Sheen does not suffer from disguised self. Like, his whole mass and matter, shape, and can shrink down to the size of a babe, a wee mewling babe, spitting in the arms of the. I wasn't so much into the. I could see that Toot Toot was completely intoxicated with the story and song of it, but wow, that was incredible. And then now with Bonnie, her true form being that tall purple alien with the goosebumps, is Sheen's true form, like, is that the form he has to take, or is that his preferred form? Oh, so many questions. And as an illusion-based wizard, that is my school of magic, then whenever I do learn a illusion spell, then that is actually half the resources and half the time that it normally takes. So I'm very excited about that. I wonder if Paige knows anything about that. Oh, that was supposed to be the outro. Good night. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.